Welcome, race fans, back to the oldest micro sprint track in the United States, Coles County Speedway, located here in Mattoon, Illinois. I'm Casey Benz, joined alongside Kevin Benz, and tonight we'll be guiding you throughout tonight's racing action. A little bit of a lighter race load tonight with only 4 classes. The action's kicking off tonight with the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Micros in hot laps. They are getting staged down there in the staging area, and we should be headed for the first green flag of the day here in just a few short moments. The first ever Rule King Road to the Dome Invitational is coming up in a little over a month here at Coles County Speedway. The one-day show on September 28th will feature the very best super late model and modified drivers in the country going up against some local short track racing heroes from 7 of the Midwest's greatest dirt ovals. Flow Racing will have the broadcast on Sunday night, September 28th for the Rule King Road to the Dome Invitational. Make sure you get here for some must-watch racing. And with that, the caution flag will come out, and the first cars are rolling onto the racetrack. The 55 GA Cameron Jacobs from Chatham, Illinois, leads them off into turn number 1. Behind him, the silver 7D of Zach Dowler from Laumie, Illinois. Larry Drake, the number 97D from Terre Haute, Indiana, rolls off turn 2 as they come across to the green flag. Also on the racetrack, the 14 of Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois. He was rolling off turn 2. Behind him, the 25T of Tyler Taylor from Danville, Illinois. New motor in that car after his motor expired last week. White flag waving on the first time laps of the day. Last car on the racetrack's Noah Mell, the number 95M from Fairland, Indiana. Checkered flag waves here on lap number 2. Mell to the top of the charts on lap 1, improves on lap 2 at 10.434. Larry Drake with the 10.501, second fastest. Cameron Jacobs, third fastest with a 10.553. Did appear, though, that Cameron Jacobs did suffer a top wing failure there on his second time to lap. The left side of the top wing coming off his race car. So 11 total entries for the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing cars tonight. 6 of them were in that group. Second group is waiting for the call to come out onto the racetrack. Luke Newton, the number 19 from Farmerburg, Indiana, will lead them off onto the racetrack. Behind him, the other Newton, it's James Newton in the number 20. Also on the racetrack, the 07C of Audra Cowden from Terre Haute, Indiana. She's off turn 2. Behind her in the middle of the backstretch, it's the number 3 of Ryder Hugart from Beckley, West Virginia. Last car on the racetrack, it's the Ghost, the number 96, Nate Casper from New Lenox, Illinois. He works off turn number 2. And with that, the white flag will come out here. First laps in the books at 10.6 for James Newton. And no one else will find themselves higher up than that. Nate Casper goes to a 10.592 lap 1. We'll have to see what he does here on lap number 2 as the checkered flag comes back off turn number 4. The second group just not as fast. Never mind, a 10.462 for Nate Casper. He'll go top of the charts for this group. Ryder Hugart was right there with him with a 10.468. James Newton third out of this group with a 10.637. And that will do it for the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Hot Laps. Up next is going to be the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints. 9 junior sprints are with us tonight. And the junior sprints get the command to roll out onto the racetrack. They're being led out by the 22F of Evan France from Lovington, Illinois. The 18 of Eli Newton from Farmerburg, Indiana is alongside him as they go into turn number 1. Joe Bonowitz is orange and black D52 from Oakland, Illinois. Rolls off turn 2. Nolan Leone from Mahomet, Illinois. He's going to roll off into turn number 3. This will be a delayed green as one car is slow over in turn number 1. That'd be the 1Z of Xander LaRose. He's from Festus, Missouri. White flag is waving here on the end of lap 1 for the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Hot Laps. A 10.505 where Xander LaRose goes top of the charts. Right near Sumner, 12.3 lap number 1, almost 2/10 clear of the field. See if anybody else can improve here on lap number 2. Cut into that gap just a little bit. Hall does, down to a 12.499. But Sumner improves even further, and Riker Sumner will take quick time here in the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints Hot Laps with a 12.376. Presley Hall was second with a 12.499. Xander LaRose right there with his RS12 Motorsport teammate with a 503. Up next, it'll be the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros. 15 of them are waiting down there in the staging area. And here come the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros. They're led out by the orange and black number 4R. That's Cameron Romack from Ashmore, Illinois. Behind him, the number 7F of Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois. He rolls off turn number 2. Same deal behind him, the 63 of Clayton Apple from Oakland, Illinois. Passing underneath the Lakeland College scoreboard is the number 11R Harrison Robards from Dardine Prairie, Missouri. Also on the racetrack, the 47 of Clay Frederick from St. Joseph, Illinois. At the flag stand, the 34, Gavin Bean from Dana, Indiana. Last car on the racetrack, the number 4, Wyatt Walters from Ashmore, Illinois. He's going to work into turn number 3. Excuse me, there's one other car out on the racetrack. That's the 18. That's Michael Brummett from Mount Zion, Illinois. He heads off into turn number 1. Clayton Apple up to the top of the charts at 10.726. Robards goes faster on lap 2. He goes to the top of the chart. Same deal for Gavin Bean. Anybody else, can they improve on lap number 2? Doesn't look like it's going to be the case. As a checkered flag will come across, Clayton Apple will take quick time out of this first session at 10.654. Michael Brummett, his final lap at 10.698. Harrison Robards, lap 2, was a 10.702. That's the top 3 for now here on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros hot laps. So 6 cars were officially scored. May have had a few cars have some transponder issues. Be just a moment before the second group can come out onto the racetrack. Group 2 rolling onto the racetrack for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros. Lead them out, the 51B of Parker Butt from Fairland, Indiana. In the middle of turns 1 and 2, it's the 456 of J.R. Carter from Charleston, Illinois. Behind him, it's the 2X of Seth Buell from Charleston, Illinois. They'll be coming to the green flag this time on the second group for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-Illinois. Also on the racetrack, the 97D of Larry Drake from Terre Haute, Indiana. That's going to be all the cars on the racetrack. Unfortunately, timing and scoring didn't seem to want to cooperate with this group, so we can't give you any sort of live timing. All right, final group of hot laps, race fans here at Coles County Speedway tonight. It's the Mod Lights, only 4 of them tonight. The 7W Dustin Wiltermood and his yellow machine heads off into turn number 1 from Windsor, Illinois. Behind him, it's the other Wiltermood. It's JR Wiltermood in the 93J, also from Windsor. Off turn 2, it's the red 2D of Josh Bonowitz from Oakland, Illinois. And finally, last car on the racetrack, the 15 of Jimmy Arthur from Mitchell, Indiana. He heads off into turn 1. Again, unfortunately, timing and scoring uncooperative for us for this final group of hot laps, but going to have to watch those Wiltermood cars, typically one of the 2 faster cars, especially that number 93J here at Coles County Speedway. And they do appear to be driving away from Jimmy Arthur and Josh Bonowitz here in this hot lap session. So with that, race fans, that'll conclude Hot Laps racing action tonight here at Coles County Speedway. It's just going to be just a few moments before we get into opening ceremonies.
All right, race fans, heat races will be starting in just a few minutes. But at this time, we would ask that you rise if you can and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you, and special thank you to all the veterans that we may have with us this week. Thank you for your service and sacrifice so that we can all live free in the greatest country in the world. All right, race fans, looks like we're ready to get our heat races underway. And our first heat race tonight will be the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing. There will be 2 heat races in this class. Heat race number 1, starting lineup is, starting first, from New Lenox, Illinois, number 96, Nate Casper. Starting second, from Fairfield, Indiana, number 95M, Noah Mell. Starting third, from Hammond, Illinois, number 14, Nolan Bartley. Starting fourth, from Chatham, Illinois, number 55J, Cameron Jacobs. Starting fifth, from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 07C is Audra Howden. And starting sixth, from Farmerburg, Indiana, number 20, James Newton. This is your Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing. Heat race number 1 at Coles County Speedway.
They're on the gas. We are green for heat race number 1. They head off into turn number 1. They're side by side for the lead. Mel around the outside. He'll go to the point, but the ghost, Nate Casper, back down to the bottom as Audrey Cowden slow off turn number 2. She gets it back going. We'll stay green. Lap number 1 will go to Nate Casper. They'll narrow back down to single file. Goes the field as they work their way to complete lap number 2, but Noah Mel knocking on the back bumper of the 96 and Nate Casper for the heat race lead. They come off turn 2. They gap about car length and a half as Nate Casper extends that lead. Off 4. Casper's gap has extended out to nearly half a second at the line. 3 laps complete. Audra Cowden's car still slows off the pace, about 2 seconds off. Something amiss for the 07C early tonight. Halfway through the heat race, we're going to complete 5 laps this time. Nate Casper going to go underneath Audra Cowden on the low side, or at least attempt to. The gap will decrease to Noah Mel just a little bit, as Cowden's car looks like it's finally finding its tempo once again. Pace is picked up a little bit as Mel goes up on the berm, almost goes around. But no harm, no foul. But we'll have Nolan Bartley on the back bumper looking for second as they come to the white flag this time. Casper will take it with a little over a 1.5 seconds lead. Nate Casper through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Nate Casper is going to win the first Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Heat Race. Nate Casper the winner, Noah Mel second, Nolan Bartley third, Cameron Jacobs fourth, James Newton fifth, and Audra Cowden sixth.
And as the cars cross the scales, we'll give you the starting lineup for our second heat race of the night, the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Heat Race number 2. Your starting lineup will be, starting first, from Danville, Illinois, number 25T, Tyler Taylor. Starting second, from Loami, Illinois, number 7D, Zach Daller. Starting third, from Farmerburg, Indiana, number 19, Luke Newton. Starting fourth, from Beckley, West Virginia, number 3, Ryder Hugart. And starting fifth, from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 97D, Larry Drake. This is your Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Heat Race number 2.
Heat race number 2 going to be coming out to the 1 to go signal as they roll off the staging area. And with that, the caution lights will turn off as they head off into turn number 1 and they get organized. Tyler Taylor in a new engine tonight. See what that number 25T can do here in heat race number 2. Zach Dallard to his outside as they approach the start cone over in turn number 4. And green flag is out. It's going to be a good jump there for the outside lane. Zach Dowler going to cut down low, going to cut off the nose of Tyler Taylor, and he'll take the lead as they go through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Steve gets the lead off 4 this time. Taylor on the bottom, but lap number 1 will go to the 7D as Zach Dowler. Tyler Taylor going to be right there looking for this heat race lead already. Still rolling that bottom a little bit better, but Ryder Hugart rolling that middle lane, trying to get around to the outside of Tyler Taylor. Has a big wiggle right there in the middle of turns 1 and 2 as Larry Drake goes by for 4th behind him. Top 3 still under a blanket. Larry Drake starting to close in on that 3-car battle for the heat race lead. They'll come to the halfway point this time. They'll complete 4 laps with 4 laps to go here on the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing Heat Race number 2. Taylor had a good look to the inside there on the entry to turn number 1. Didn't take a shot. Dowler now goes all the way to the bottom of the racetrack trying to defend that inside lane. Taylor right there with him. Hugart going to try to go around the outside. but he can't quite get the run he wants. That outside lane not coming in just yet. Larry Drake up to third. Took advantage of that little misstep there from Hugard, and he tries to get underneath Taylor as well. Tried to get a 2-for-1 deal. Couldn't quite get the pass complete. But white flag will wave for Zach Dowler as he heads off into turn number 1. He's off 2 as he's extending his race lead over a little bit over 2 car lengths as he rolls into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And it's going to be Zach Dowler taking the second heat race win in the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wings. Tyler Taylor finishes second. Larry Drake goes from last to third in this one. Ryder Hugart fourth and Luke Newton fifth.
And coming up next will be our high caliber graphics junior sprints. 2 heat races. Your starting lineup for heat race number 1 is starting first from Lovington, Illinois, number 22F, Evan France. Starting second from Oakland, Illinois, number D52, Joseph Bonowitz. Starting third from Greenville, Wisconsin, number 73, Jackson Reinholz. Starting fourth from Des Lodge, Missouri, number 25P, Presley Hall. And starting fifth from Mahomet, Illinois, number 57, Nolan Leone. This is your high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race number 1 here at Coles County Speedway.
So the first heat race for the high caliber graphic junior sprints, we're looking to come to the green. It'll get waved off here as timing and scoring will have to get updated. Caution gets, or the 1 to go signal gets waved off once again. The pace speed being brought up just a little bit too high for race control's liking. So it looks like they'll be organized this time as they roll into turns 3 and 4. And with that, they're going to pass the restart cone. They are on the gas. We are green on heat race number 1 for the high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race. Off into turn number 1. Evan France gets a good jump. He goes through to the lead. Joe Bonowitz, though, going to look to go to the outside, but isn't going to have the run he wants. Nolan Leone picking off the 25P of Presley Hall at the tail end of the field. And Leone looking to pick off Reinholz as well on the entry to turn number 1. Got a 2-for-1 deal on lap number 1. Evan France still on the point, but Joe Bonowitz right there with him, just 2/10 back. 2 laps complete here on heat race number 1 for the high caliber graphics junior sprints. Joe Bonowitz slides a little bit too far that time. Nolan Leone starting to close in on these front runners. Leone going to have a good opportunity here in just a couple laps here on Joe Bonowitz. As Bonowitz slides a little bit too far on exit again in turn number 4. He gets a good run, though, on Evan France's number 22F. We were going to have the top 3 almost under a blanket. Just Bonowitz's car doesn't look as good on the back stretch as it does on the front stretch, though. Loses a little bit of time there. 5 laps complete here on the high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race number 1. Nolan Leone still trying to close in on Joe Bonowitz, but the top 3 all running very similar lap times at the moment. Evan France still sticking it down there right on the bottom. Joe Bonowitz in second, just set his fastest lap of the race. And with that, they'll come to the white flag this time. Evan France will collect it. He heads off into turn number 1 for the final time. Going to have one more shot as Joe Bonowitz in second. Maybe a little too far back as they head into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Off turn 4, it's the 22F of Evan France winning the first high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race. Joe Bonowitz will finish second, Nolan Leone third, Jackson Reinholz fourth, and fifth is Presley Hall.
Up next is your high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race number 2. Your starting lineup will be starting first from Ashmore, Illinois, number J16, Jasper Hellman. Starting second from Farmerburg, Indiana, number 18, Eli Newton. Starting third from Festus, Missouri, number 1Z, Xander LaRose. And starting fourth from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 20, Riker Sumner. This is the high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race number 2.
So heat race number 2 rolling onto the racetrack. I don't think we're going to get the one to green this time. They look a little bit too disorganized as they roll off into turn number 1. So they will go around 2 times before we get the green. Oh, no, maybe we'll go green. Caution lights are out around the racetrack. And with that, Jasper Hellman and Eli Newton will head towards the start cone located at turn 4. They're on it. We are green. It's going to be a good jump for both lanes. They're side by side into turn number 1, but it's going to be Eli Newton on the point as they roll through turn number 2. Riker Sumner rolls the top around. The 1Z is Xander LaRose, takes that third spot away. Going to be looking to take that second spot away from Jasper Hellman in second as they complete lap number 1. Hellman up the racetrack just a little bit there in turns 1 and 2. Sumner just about a lane lower is going to get to the inside of Hellman. Backs out of it as they head back off into turn number 1. And they will almost be, they are side by side off turn number 2. Sumner on the inside, going to have the lane and slides up in front of Hellman. He'll take the second spot away. Sumner was the fastest car in hot laps by about a tenth and a half. We'll see if he can chase down Eli Newton as they approach the halfway point here on heat race number 2 for the high caliber graphics junior sprints. Newton and Sumner both picking up the pace, both just threw down their fastest lap. Sumner was about a tenth faster that last time by. Sumner gets right on the back bumper there as they complete lap 5. It's going to be a good run for him. He was about 3/10 faster that lap. Now he's going to be thinking about where he wants to put Eli Newton to try to take advantage and take this heat race lead away. Still on the back bumper. Going to look to the inside off 2. He is alongside, and Eli Newton not going to sure if he's going to know he's there. White flag will wave as they're side by side of the line. Eli Newton still the leader. But off into turn number 1, some contact. Eli Newton into the outside wall. No caution. We stay green. Riker Sumner going to come through turns 3 and 4, and Riker Sumner is going to win the second high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race. Kind of just 2 guys going for the same spot, it looked like, for at least from my view. Just some good hard racing, and sometimes, unfortunately, that happens with Riker Sumner taking the win here on the second high caliber graphics junior sprint heat race. Jasper Hellman second, Xander LaRose third, and as a result of that contact, Eli Newton will not finish in the 4th position.
As they work to get Eli Newton's car off the track, we'll go ahead and give you the starting lineup for the next group, which is our Cleveland Grain non-wing micros. Be 2 heat races in this class. Your starting lineup will be starting first from Dana, Indiana, number 34, Gavin Bean. Starting second From Oakland, Illinois, number 63, Clayton Apple. Starting third, from Charleston, Illinois, number 456, J.R. Carter. Starting fourth, from Charleston, Illinois, number 2X, Seth Buell. Starting fifth, from St. Joseph, Illinois, number 47, Clay Frederick. Starting sixth, from Ashmore, Illinois, number 4R, Cameron Romack. Starting seventh, from Beckley, West Virginia, number 3, Ryder Hugart. And starting eighth, from Hammond, Illinois, number 7F, Nolan Bartley. This is your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro heat race number 1.
And with that, they're issued to come on out to the racetrack. And with that, another 8-lap heat race coming up here. As they get the one-to-go signal, the caution lights will turn off as they get organized. Down in turn number 1. Nolan Bartley needed maybe a little bit of assistance getting fired up, but he will tag on at the tail end of the field. And it sounds like they're going to go around one more time. So with the field a little bit more organized this time, the caution lights will turn off around the historic Coles County Speedway for the first time on a Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro heat race tonight. With that, Gavin Bean, Clayton Apple with control will head towards the start cone over in turn number 4. They're on it. We're green, and they head off into turn number 1. Could be a good jump for Apple, not so much for the rest of the entire outside lane, and Apple will go through to the lead on the outside through turns 1 and 2. Everybody trying to scramble for positions here early on. They're 3 wide in the mid-pack. Seth Buell was trying to go to the middle. Instead, he'll get the worst of it, backs out of it as he heads back off into turn number 1. At the end of lap 1, it's Clayton Apple on the point. Gavin Bean in second is going to look to take that heat race lead away as they head back off into turn 1. Apple shuts the door on the entry to 1. Bean's car maybe a little bit better right on the exit. Not a good turns 3 and 4 right there, though the car was super tight. You had that car, I think, at steering lock trying to get the thing to turn. It just would not turn, and that will put through the number 47, a Clay Frederick. He goes through to second. Bean holding on to that third spot for now, but Nolan Bartley smells blood in the water. He wants to take that third spot away from an ill-handling number 34. Still Clayton Apple on the point as they complete lap number 5. Clay Frederick in second, trying to take this away, but just cannot get the runs he's wanting. Gavin Bean still running that middle groove, has Nolan Bartley towards his inside. That 47 of Frederick almost into the outside wall here on the front stretch, but he'll keep it organized as Bartley will get to the inside of Bean into turns 3 and 4. And the white flag will come out for Clayton Apple. Once again, Bean just cannot get that car to turn on the high side. Clayton Apple through turn 2, clear, all clear, into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. No one's close enough, and the checkered flag will wave for Clayton Apple, who's going to win the first Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro heat race. Clayton Apple wins it. Clay Frederick was second.
And coming up next will be your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro heat race number 2. Your starting lineup will be, starting first, from Mount Zion, Illinois, number 18, Michael Brummett. Starting second, from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 97D, Larry Drake. Starting third, from Charleston, Illinois, and number 38, Danny Hayes. Starting fourth, from Ashmore, Illinois, number 4, Wyatt Walters. Starting fifth, from Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, number 11, Harrison Robards. Starting sixth, from Fairland, Indiana, number 51B, Parker Bupp. And starting seventh, number 73, Brent Booz. This is your final heat race for the Cleveland Grain non-wing micros.
Heat race number 2 onto the racetrack. Another 8 laps for them. 7 in this one. The front row of Michael Brummett and Larry Drake will head for the start cone over in turn number 4 with control of heat race number 2. For the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros, the green flag is out, and they are racing off into turn number 1, side by side the entire field. Larry Drake going to throw the crossover move through turns 1 and 2. He takes the lead away from Michael Brummett. Brummett's going to try to throw the slider back into turns 3 and 4. Cannot get ahead of the number 97, and Larry Drake will lead lap number 1. Hayes falling back, falls back into 5th as Walters will move up into 3rd. Walters has bumped to the inside, was able to fend off that attack through turns 3 and 4. Now Larry Drake on the point, trying to pull away from Michael Brummett. Parker Bupp to the outside of Wyatt Walters. He backs out of it. And right now, Parker Bupp rolling that middle groove, trying to find something that will work. And like I said earlier, in one of those other heat races, outside lane just hasn't come in yet in turns 3 and 4, but it looks like it's kind of in through turns 1 and 2. He got a big run off of turn 2. And was able to stay alongside. They're 3 wide for the top 5 position. Hayes will go around, and upside down will go Robards. The red flag will come out. So Danny Hayes spun right on the entry to turn 1, and Harrison Robards nowhere to go. Made some contact and ended up upside down at one point. He did land on all 4 tires. It looked like he got restarted, but he's going to allow the Coles County Speedway safety crew to take a look over his race car, make sure everything's all good with the number 11R. It does appear that Robards will attempt to continue. And with that, the caution flag is displayed once again at Coles County Speedway. Looks like both cars involved will continue on, so Danny Hayes and Harrison Robards will both drop to the tail. Both of them checking their race cars, making sure everything is all good and damage isn't too severe. It doesn't appear to be. So they'll try to tag on at the tail end of the field. And with 3 laps complete, we'll have 5 more to go around here on the second Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro heat race. Larry Drake will bring us back to green. Michael Brummett behind him. Wyatt Walters, Parker Bupp will be 4th. The top 5 will be Brent Booz. Then it will be Danny Hayes and Harrison Robards, 6th and 7th respectively as the caution lights go out. Here on the second Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro heat race, we've got another 5 laps to go. Larry Drake going to bring the field to the middle part of the racetrack. He's waiting on the bump from Brummett, and they are on it. We are back green, and they head off into turn number 1. They stay single file. Only 2 cars go to the outside. It's Hayes and Bupp. Bupp will try to pick off Wyatt Walters through turn 2. He tries to get it rolling through the top side through turns 3 and 4. Just cannot get the car to turn as well as he wants it to. He should be clear, though, as he gets through turns 1 and 2. He's going to was clear of Walters, but got to the outside of Michael Brummett. That stalls his momentum. 3 laps to go for race leader Larry Drake. A little bit of contact there in the mid-pack. Booz and Bupp. As Bupp was trying to get back down, they made a little bit of contact, and Booz will go by for 4th. He's on the inside of Walters. He'll try to take the 3rd spot away, and he will just about do so on the entry to 1. Walters fights back on the outside, but backs out of it in the middle of the backstretch. White flag waving for Larry Drake as he rolls off turn number 4. 2/10 the advantage to Michael Brummett in second. Brummett's going to back off of this one. Bub losing more positions on this final lap, and the checkered flag will wave for Larry Drakes, number 97D, your second Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro heat race winner. Michael Brummett has to settle for a second. Bryn Booz went from last to third in this one. That was a great run for him on that last restart. Wyatt Walters fourth, Parker Bump fifth, Harrison Robards sixth, and Danny Hayes seventh.
And coming up next will be our final heat race of the evening. It's our mod lights. We have 4 entries, so we'll just have the one heat race. Your starting lineup will be, starting first, from Mitchell, Indiana, number 15, Jimmy Arthur. Starting second, from Windsor, Illinois, number 93J, J.R. Wiltermude. Starting third, from Windsor, Illinois, number 7W, Dustin Wildermude. And starting fourth, from Oakland, Illinois, number 2D, Josh Bonowitz. This is your Mod Light heat race here at Coles County Speedway.
Mod Lights rolling onto the racetrack. And they're not going to be organized enough. Josh Bonowitz needs some assistance down there in the staging area, getting his car fired up. See if he's going to get a push from his crew or if he can get it fired up. Looked like it started to roll there for a minute. Looks like for him, unfortunately, no dice for Josh Bonowitz on getting that car fired up. So we are going to extend this initial start. As track crew will get to the red 2D down there in the staging area. And they're going to give him some assistance to get onto the racing surface. Looks like he got it fired up pretty quickly after getting a little bit of assistance from the track crew. So he'll tag on to the tail end of the field in his fourth starting position. And once he gets there, we'll get the one-to-go signal. One-to-go signal has been given to the Mod Light heat race. Another 8 laps for these Mod Lights here in their heat race. They come off turn number 2 with the caution lights off. It's Jimmy Arthur and J.R. Wiltermude with control as they approach that start cone over in turn number 4. Arthur's on the gas. We're green on the Mod Light heat race, but J.R. Wiltermude going to power around the outside. He's going to try to take this lead away as they come off turn number 2. There's still a dead heat. Wiltermude a little bit in front, but locks up that front left tire as he went into turn number 3. It's going to allow the other Wiltermude to his inside. Dustin going to try to take the second spot away from J.R. They're side by side as they come off turn number 2 for the second position. Still Dustin on the inside trying to make something work, but JR going to clear him as they head back off into turn number 1. A little bit of more contact there as they head through turns 1 and 2 as Dustin gets a better entry. And JR still locking up that left front tire right on corner entry. Not going to be good for the turnability of that race car, but he's going to get on Jimmy Arthur's back bumper. Going to try to take this heat race lead away, but Dustin gets back to the inside of the number 93 as they go back into turns 3 and 4. Side by side off turn number 4. JR still ahead at the halfway point. Jimmy Arthur has led all 4 laps so far, but the Wiltermude's not far behind him as Dustin will get a better run this time on the bottom. He's going to clear JR, and they head back off into turns 1 and 2. JR Wiltermude still locking that front left tire, just not getting what he wants out of that race car, not allowing him to roll that outside groove as good as he normally does. It's going to allow Dustin to try that high side out, and Dustin looks to be a little bit better up top. He'll get alongside Jimmy Arthur for the heat race lead, but he's a little bit too high on entry into turn 3, and he's going to get side by side with his other Wiltermude as they take the white flag. Jimmy Arthur on the point, clear by several car lengths as they head through turns 3 and 4 for the final time, and it's going to be Jimmy Arthur taking the Mod Light heat race win. J.R. Wiltermude will finish second, Dustin Wiltermude third, Josh Bonowitz across the line in fourth. So with that, that will conclude the heat race action here tonight at Coles County Speedway. Up next, going to be the features, but I believe we're going to be going towards a short intermission before we head to the features later on. And if you need something to quench your thirst, make sure you visit the Turn 4 Cafe located at the north end of the facility to get all the food and drinks you might need during tonight's racing events. You can enjoy all your favorite drink products along with your favorite Butch's Pizza. Visit the Turn 4 Cafe during the racing action every week for any food or drink you might need. Track maintenance is complete here from Coles County Speedway. With that, the features are starting to make their way to the staging area. First feature up tonight for 15 laps. This is Spartan Transportation A-Class Wings. On the pole, it'll be Zach Daller from Laramie, Illinois, his number 7D. Alongside him, it's Nate Casper from New Lenox, Illinois, in the number 96. Larry Drake from Terre Haute, Indiana, in the 97D will start in third. Noah Mell from Fairland, Indiana, in the 95M starts fourth. Rounding out the top five, you'll find Tyler Taylor from Danville, Illinois, in his number 25T. Nolan Bartley to his outside in the sixth starting position from Hammond, Illinois, in car 14. Cameron Jacobs in the 55J from Chatham, Illinois, will start seventh. Eighth will be Ryder Hugart from Beckley, West Virginia, in the 3. Then an all-Newton row with James Newton from Farmersburg, Indiana, the number 20, starting ninth, and Luke Newton Armour, also from Farmersburg, Indiana, in the 19, rounding out the top 10. And Aldrich Alden will round out the field in the 11th and final starting position from Terre Haute, Indiana, in the 07C. Spartan Transportation is the proud sponsor of this A-Wing class at Coles County Speedway. Spartan Transportation offers over 75 years worth of experience among their logistics specialists. Thanks to their experience, you can rest assured that your freight will always be managed safely and with the highest priority. Thank you once again to Spartan Transportation for sponsoring the A-Wing class at Coles County Speedway. So it sounds like they are almost ready to go. Just going to wait on the command from race control to send our first feature on the racetrack out. So I mentioned a 15-lap feature for the Spartan Transportation A-Class wing cars. The front row being made up of a driver who has yet to win a feature here at Coles County Speedway, Zach Daller, and a driver who has won 3 times this year. That's Nate Casper. The last win coming just last week, or excuse me, not last week, on August 9th for Nate Casper. And you've got other drivers who went off to this class. Larry Drake, Noah Mell making up row 2. Overall, very experienced field here tonight for the Spartan Transportation A-Class wings. And with that, they've been given the command. They're rolling out onto the racetrack. They'll make sure the order is all right to go before we send them to the one-to-go signal. And we're all good. The one-to-go signal coming to the Spartan Transportation A-Class wing feature as they head off into turn number 1. Caution lights fall silent for the first time in a feature here at Coles County Speedway tonight. Zach Daller, Nate Casper with control of the Spartan Transportation A-Class wing feature field will roll to the start cone in turn number 4. They're on it. We're green, and they're equal as they pass the start line. And it'll be Nate Casper, the Ghost, going through to the point off turn number 2. Larry Drake slides underneath Daller. He'll go through to second. Daller fading back as Taylor tries to roll through on the bottom. But lap number 1 will go to the 96 and Nate Casper. Side by side still for that third position. Zach Daller will cut down to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to cut off Tyler Taylor. Will slide up and cut off the 95M and Noah Mell, not allowing Mell to use that high side momentum. Gets a little bit too high there on the entry to 1, and is going to lose multiple positions as Taylor will go through to third, but he's got the number 14 and Nolan Bartley onto his inside, trying to take that third spot away. Front 2 getting away at a rapid pace, and they are starting to get spread apart in the front half of the pack and at the tail end of the pack. They're going to try to get single file there for the third position as they roll back into turns number 1 and 2. Nolan Bartley, a little bit too tight on entry. He's going to lose some time to the 25T of Tyler Taylor, and Taylor now throwing down the lap times he likes. Everybody's been improving until just now. Everybody starting to slow down their pace just a little bit. Noah Mell trying to roll that high side, trying to catch back up to the 14B and Nolan Bartley. Mell's there on the back bumper into turn number 3 of Bartley. Side by side almost off turn 4. That outside lane just not working for Mell. Through turns 3 and 4, he'll settle back in line. He's definitely got the faster car. It seems like just can't get that high side to work. We're past the halfway point for Nate Casper. Nate Casper off turn 4 will complete his 9th lap as he works into lap traffic. He's got a 1.2 second advantage over second place Larry Drake. He's off turn number 2. And Nate Casper, after taking the lead off the initial start, has been leading this whole distance. 10 laps complete for the Ghost out in front. Nate Casper into the Newton lap traffic now. They're battling it out for position. Speed 4 in the 9th position. Now the 19 stalls on the backstretch. That's Lou Newton. He's trying to get it fired back up as faster cars going to try to come all around him. He's still trying to get the engine fired. We'll have to watch for this to be a caution with 3 laps to go. That car's still rolling around, but no caution out just yet. They'll come to 2 to go this time as Luke Newton brings it down to the infield. No caution for the Luke Newton stall. Nate Casper will come to the white flag this time. It is number 96. No laps cars between him and Larry Drake, but the gap is a little bit too big. Nate Casper on the backstretch for the final time. Off turn number 4, Nate Casper picks up his 4th win of the year here at Coles County Speedway in the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing feature. Nate Casper has absolutely dominated here at this racetrack in the recent months, picking up his 4th win of the year here in the Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing feature. Second goes to Larry Drake. Tyler Taylor was 3rd, Nolan Bartley 4th. Cameron Jacobs 5th, Ryder Hugart 6th, Noah Mell 7th, Zach Dowler 8th, James Newton 9th, Audrey Cowden 10th, and Luke Newton exited the race at the end of lap number 11. Nate Casper had a pretty rough start to the year, a couple DNFs and a couple finishes outside the top 10, but he's been making it up here these last couple months, picking up 4 wins. This is his 3rd over the last month. And he'll be into victory lane, where our victory lane reporter Kevin Bentz is going to see our 4th time winner here at Coles County Speedway.
Thank you, Casey. We're just down here waiting for Nate to get out of his car now. All right, folks, let him hear. Let's give a big round of applause to your Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing feature winner, Nate Casper from New Lenox, Illinois. Come on over, Nate. Good run tonight, start to finish. Car looked good. Didn't have you had Larry Drake running behind you fairly close, but you were able to keep him back.
Yeah, thank you. It felt pretty fast. I kind of took a little bit of a different approach to the setup tonight, and it seemed to work out for me. So,
excellent. You always like it when a new approach works. So,
yeah, for sure. Well, thanks to Dad and Mom and Pops and Grandma who make all this possible for me, and then everyone who supports us on the car. High Performance Lubricants, Remington Auto Parts, All Top for Cat, Fleet Services, Big Daddy Scrap, Magic Touch Landscaping, Bodies by Dan and Junior Hauling.
All right, excellent. All right, folks, one more time. Big round of applause for Nate Casper, your Spartan Transportation A-Class Wing feature winner here at Coles County Speedway.
Thank you, Kevin. And we want to just take a notice here, getting down into the last couple months of the racing season, the point situation starting to become a little bit clearer. Nate Casper entered tonight 475 points back at Noah Mell off the points lead. He was 3rd. Obviously, this win not going to do a whole lot into that point differential, but it is a good start for him. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of a tighter battle here. It's been a tight battle for the points really all year long in all these classes. But up next, it's the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints. Be another 15-lap feature for them tonight. Riker Sumner from Terre Haute, Indiana, the number 20, will start us on the pole. Evan France alongside him in the 22F from Lovington, Illinois. Nolan Leone from Mahomet, Illinois, number 57, will start third. Joe Bonowitz in the D52 from Oakland, Illinois, starts fourth. Jasper Hellman from Ashmore, Illinois, will start fifth in the J16. Xander LaRose to his outside from Festus, Missouri in the 1Z. Jackson Reinholz from Greenville, Wisconsin's number 73, will start seventh. Eli Newton from Farmersburg, Indiana, in the 18 starts eighth. Rounding out the field in the ninth and final starting position will be Presley Hall from Des Lodge, Missouri, in her number 25P. This has been your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint starting lineup. So the junior sprints make their way out onto the racetrack. They'll look to get the 1-to-go signal. Once the race control tells them they're ready to go. And it does appear they are ready to go. So it's going to be Riker Sumner and Evan France making up row number 1 as they approach the start cone over in turn number 4. They are on the gas. We are green on the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. Going to be a good jug for Riker Sumner. Going to be cleared by several car lengths as they roll through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Nolan Leone going to try to work on the Evan France car for second. To the inside is Leone. Side by side back into turn number 1. And Leone going to try to get ahead just about. Is clear of the number 22 of Evan France. Joe Bonowitz going to follow Leone through. And Bonowitz will be clear up to third. The Rose will follow them through as well, and Evan France just cannot get down, and he is losing a bunch of positions, falling outside the top 5 now as the 22F. Out in front off turn number 2, it's still that number 20 machine of Riker Sumner has pulled a 1.5 seconds on Nolan Leone in second. And with 3 laps complete, that pace continuing to pick up for that number 20 machine at 12.2 his last lap. The fastest car in the rest of the field was a 12.6, that second place car, Nolan Leone. About 4/10 faster a lap is the number 20 of Riker Sumner. Still single files, they head back through turns 1 and 2 for the third position. LaRose picks off Joe Bonowitz. And see if he can chase down the number 57 of Nolan Leone. Here's the complete lap number 5. 2.2 the gap between third and second. Eli Newton off turn number 4 has Jackson Reinholz on his back bumper. That's for the top 5. Reinholz didn't get a good 1 and 2 entry that time, but he's got a good run back into turn number 3. He'll look to the outside, is going to think better of it, sits back in line behind Newton. Newton, though, on the back bumper of Joe Bonowitz. And once again, just deciding to take it a little bit easy. Newton trying to cut underneath Joe Bonowitz as they head back into turn number 1. And Newton still looking for that opportunity, just isn't finding the run. 6 laps to go for race leader Riker Sumner. Newton now making a little bit of contact there off turn number 4 with the back bumper of Joe Bonowitz's car. They're side by side off turn 2. This is for the 4th position. Joe Bonowitz is going to stay ahead as they go back into turn number 3 as Eli Newton backs out of it. Xander LaRose trying to close in on Nolan Leone, 0.5 seconds the gap for the second position as they roll off turn number 4. There's 4 laps to go for race leader Riker Sumner, who's 4.5 seconds ahead of the field. Leone still going to try to hold on to his second position with 3 laps to go. We'll see if he is able to do it in that number 57 machine. Off turn 4, once again, the number 20, Riker Sumner, almost a half a track advantage for the number 20 as he rolls through turn number 2. He'll come to the white flag this time with a 4.7 second advantage as Nolan Leone throws down his fastest lap of the race, trying to stay ahead of Xander LaRose off 4. But into turn 3 for the final time. That's the number 20 of Riker Sumner. And dominating fashion's going to win in the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. Off 4, Leone just about holds off Xander LaRose for the second position. That was a great battle between those two in the closing laps. So Riker Sumner, the winner of the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature. Nolan Leone second. Xander LaRose third. Joe Bonowitz fourth. Eli Newton rounds out the top 5. Jackson Reinhold 6th. Evan France 7th. Jasper Hellman 8th. And Presley Hall finished 9th. So Riker Sumner will make the journey into victory lane for the first time this year here at Coles County Speedway. It was first start of the year here in the Junior Sprint. So Kevin, we're going to throw it down to you down in victory lane.
Okay, thank you, Casey. We sure have an excited young man in the car here waiting to get out. Good job, young man. All right, folks, let's give a big round of applause to Riker Sumner from Terre Haute, Indiana, your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. Come on over here, Riker, right here. Right there where the camera can see you there, all right? Good job tonight. You were definitely the class of the field. They dropped the green flag, and you just drove away, winning that race by 5 seconds.
Yeah, just thanks to my dad for making my cars so fast. You know, I would have never won that race without him.
That's nice. You got any other sponsors? Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank SMC, Gibson Services, my mom, my dad, my Gigi, my grandpa, all my other supporters out there.
All right, excellent. How old are you?
10.
10 years old. You're fast. You like the racing here?
I love the racing here.
Excellent. All right, folks, one more time. Let's give him a big round of applause. The Riker Sumner, your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint feature winner at Coles County Speedway.
Thank you once again, Kevin. Up next, it's the Cleveland Grain non-wing micros for their 20-lap feature tonight. On the pole, it's the 7F and Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois. Alongside him, it's Clay Frederick from St. Joseph, Illinois, and his number 47. Nolan Bartley driving the 7F. Brent Booz in the number 73 starts third. Clayton Apple from Oakland, Illinois, in the number 63 starts fourth. Larry Drake in the 97D from Terre Haute, Indiana, starts 5th. Michael Brummett to his outside in the 6th starting position from Mount Zion, Illinois, in his 18. Wyatt Walters in number 4 starts 7th from Ashmore, Illinois. Alongside him, it's Parker Butt from Fairland, Indiana, in the 51B. Gavin Bean from Dana, Indiana, starts 9th in the number 34. J.R. Carter from Charleston, Illinois, in the 456 will round out the top 10. Cameron Romack from Ashmore, Illinois, starts 11th in the 4R. Harrison Robards to his outside in the 12th starting position in the 11R from Darding Prairie, Missouri. Ryder Hugart from Beckley, West Virginia, in the number 3 starts 13th. Danny Hayes in the number 38 from Charleston, Illinois, starts 14th. Rounding out the field in the 15th and final position, it's Seth Buell from Charleston, Illinois, in the 2X. This has been your Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature lineup. It's been a really close points battle in the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros this year. Just 82.5 points separate the front two in points. Parker Bump came in tonight leading. Danny Hayes was second. So this battle will continue on even through this weekend. I have a feeling this one's going to go all the way down to the wire this year. And with that, the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micros on the racetrack. I mentioned before, another 20-lap feature for these drivers tonight. So the field seems like they're mostly organized, but race control not quite ready to go just yet. Race control just making sure that everybody's all into their correct starting positions before we can give them the one-to-go signal. So it sounds like we're all good to go. They'll be coming to the one-to-go signal this time for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. So they will come closer together as they head back off into turn number 1. And the caution lights fall silent once again here on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Front row of Nolan Bartley, Clay Frederick with control of the field will approach the start cone. They are on it. We're green, and they head off into turn number 1. It's the number 7F and Nolan Bartley on the point. He goes straight to the high side. He knows that high side is good in turns 1 and 2. Have some contact for Drake in the mid-pack. J.R. Carter, multiple cars into the outside wall, and I cannot tell if that 38 went upside down or not, but we'll throw the red flag just to make sure. Kind of just a mess there as I got off turn number 2. And being the initial start, just kind of everybody ran out of room. And a bunch of cars with damage here early on. No laps officially complete, so we'll head for a full race restart. As the driver, that number 38, that's Danny Hayes, climbing out of that race car. That's a good sign to see after he took a pretty wild ride there on the outside wall in the middle of the backstretch. Not sure if Larry Drake has too much damage, but he may attempt to continue. Yeah, luckily for a lot of these drivers involved in that incident, the damage doesn't look too bad on a lot of the cars that took some of the heavier contact. One of those cars, the 11R Harrison Robards, can see him right in front of me here on the front stretch. Took a little wild ride earlier in the heat races. That car still looks pretty good, even after flipping earlier tonight. As I mentioned, once we go back to yellow flag conditions, this will be a complete race restart, so everybody will double back up into their starting positions, and we will try it again. Michael Brummett going to leave the racetrack with a flat left rear tire, and that will end his night. J.R. Carter asking the Coles County Speedway track crew to take a look at his number 456, stopped over in turn number 4. He gets it rolling. I think his damage might be too severe as well. So yeah, track crew is going to turn his car back to the pit area, and J.R. Carter will exit the racetrack. Looks like he has a flat left rear tire as well. So as soon as this number 38 car comes off the racetrack, we should go back to yellow flag conditions. Yellow flag back out on the racetrack, and everybody will get refired. And we will double them back up. We'll try this initial start again. After that, lap 1 melee. The field's going to double it up as they come back off turn number 4. Still have all 20 laps to go on this Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Larry Drake's car slow off turn number 2. To see if he makes the left-hand turn. Can see a little bit of damage on his left rear tire. And we'll have to see if he is just waiting on the field to go on by him, or if he has more problems. Yeah, it did look like he was just waiting on the field to go by him. Race control instructing Larry to drop to the tail for being involved in the incident. And instead, I think he's just going to pull down to the infield, and he's going to say his night's done, not wanting to continue after that incident. Yeah, he's going to head off the racetrack back to the pit area, calling his night quits. Race control is still going over the starting positions for these drivers, as we had multiple cars involved in that incident, just making sure everybody's into their positions as the field picked up the pace there just a little bit, trying to allow everybody to get some breathing room while they sorted out that order. And with that, the caution lights are out. 1 to go. Signal has been given and received by the drivers. And it's the same front rows just before. Noah Bartley and Clay Frederick at the start cone. We are green. It's be a great jump for Clay Frederick off into turn number 1. He's going to try to cross up Noah Bartley. He does. He's clear by the time they come off turn number 2. Bartley tries to dive it back in 3 and 4, but no opportunity for him. And lap number 1 will go to Clay Frederick. Field trying to single file out here. Clay Fredericks trying to defend aggressively on the number 7F of Nolan Bartley. Bartley got loose in the middle of turn number 4 that allowed the 63 of Clayton Appleby right up to his back bumper. But there wasn't a good opportunity for Clayton to get by him, and with that, still on the point, it's the 47 of Clay Frederick. Nolan Bartley running second, still trying to find some room to pick up the pace. Clay Frederick just a little bit better down there on the bottom, and here comes the crossover move from Nolan Bartley for the lead. Off into turn number 3. Bartley dives it in, throwing the slider, and he is going to be ahead as they complete another lap here on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. One car slow off turn number 4, the number 3. He gets it down into the infield. He's kind of not into a safe position. We'll see if they throw the caution, and they will. That's Ryder Hugart. His car stalled off turn number 4, could not get the car into a safe position. So with that, the caution does come out. So track crew will push Ryder Hugart's car into a safer position, and then we will get them back going to the green. A little bit of debris here on the front stretch at the flag stand. I can see it here from the broadcast booth. So our flagman, John Shipman, is going to instruct the field to go down low to avoid that chunk of debris. But the leader on the restart, it's going to be all the 7F of Nolan Bartley. Behind him, the 47, Clay Frederick. Then Clayton Apple in third. Fourth will be Brent Booz. Fifth, Parker Bump. Sixth will be the 34, Gavin Bean. Seventh will be Wyatt Walters. Eighth will be Harrison Robards. And ninth, Seth Buell. And 10th will be Cameron Romack. Those are the race cars still on the racetrack. And they will come to the one to go signal this time on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Have approximately 14 laps to go. When they come back to the green, Nolan Bartley with control of this field as the caution lights will extinguish. Nolan Bartley up towards the top side of the racetrack as he approaches the restart cone, waits on the bump behind him. Green flag back in the air on the Cleveland Grain System non-wing micro feature. Bartley goes to the top of turns 1 and 2. Frederick goes down low. Apple goes to the top, but can't get alongside Frederick as he slides up through turns 1 and 2. Now will stay single file as they complete the first lap back under green. Frederick sliding a little bit too high there off turn number 2. That allows Apple to get a little bit closer, but not close enough to try to get alongside him. Booz has Parker Bupp to his inside. Parker Bupp trying to take that spot away. Can't quite do it, and now Gavin Bean knocking on the door for the top 5. Slides in a little bit too deep on Parker Bupp, and he will fall back into his 6th place. Still out in front and pulling away. It's the 7F and Nolan Bartley. He's pulling away from Clay Frederick in 2nd. Clayton Apple 3rd. Apple trying to keep this car behind him. That's the 73 of Brent Booz. Parker Bupp into this battle as well for that 2nd position. Apple just not getting the turnability he wants. We'll have 8 laps to go for race leader Nolan Bartley. Clayton Apple still rolling that high groove. Brent Booz starting to roll that bottom lane a little bit better than everybody else right now. He gets to the inside of Apple as they head back into 1. That's for the 3rd position, but he can't take it away. Clay Frederick diamonds the exit and gets a good run off. Is going to get away from these drivers, and he holds on to that 2nd position still with some phenomenal defense underneath the hood of that number 47. Apple trying to go around the outside, has to back out of it again. Frederick looked like he was going to give him the room, but 5 laps to go here on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Nolan Bartley still on the point and pulling away from this feature field. Apple will finally go around the outside of Clay Frederick for the 2nd position. And Frederick going to have to roll that bottom line now. He's trying to stay ahead of the number 73 of Brent Booz. And he just about will be able to do it. 3 to go for race leader Nolan Bartley. He heads off into turn 1. He's got about a quarter of a lap advantage over the field. Frederick's car just doesn't have the pace tonight. That seems to be holding everybody up behind him. Heavy contact there. Parker Bupp into the outside wall. Trying to keep it going. No caution. We stay green. Three laps to go. Or excuse me, white flag for Nolan Bartley. Timing is scoring off just a little bit. And Nolan Bartley off turn 4. He's going to win the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Great battle there to the line between Booz and Frederick. Have to confirm with race control who got what position, but the top 3 was Race winner Nolan Bartley. And second and third goes between Brent Booz and Clayton Apple, it looked like. So Nolan Bartley into victory lane once again here on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro class. It's his second win of the year. And, of course, the second one in this non-wing micro car. Kevin, down to you.
All right, folks, he's coming up out of his car now. Let's give a big round of applause to Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois, your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. All right, we got a bit of a dual celebration going on here. Hey, can you get one of all of us? Yeah. You need to get in here too. Hang on with me for just a moment. I'm turning into a cameraman here. Okay, you guys ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Thank you. Nolan, come on over. All right, Nolan, you got a heck of a jump on that last start, and you just, absolutely just drove away from the field.
Yeah, the track was fast. The car was set up perfect, thanks to Ryan. And, yeah, I want to thank all my sponsors, Redemption Contractors, and that's about it.
Seems like you've been around a long time. How many years you been racing?
Probably 6.
6 years?
7.
How old?
14.
14. Well, you're fast, so that's great. You think your name?
Derek and Mandy, and that's it.
All right, folks. One more time. Big round of applause for Nolan Bartley, your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro feature winner here at Coles County Speedway.
Thank you, Kevin, once again. With that, just one more feature left to go tonight. It's the Mod Lights up next. Only 4 of them going to go around here for 10 laps. On the pole for the Mod Light feature, it's going to be Jimmy Arthur from Mitchell, Indiana, and his number 15. J.R. Wiltermude will be to his outside, the 93J from Windsor, Illinois. Starting third, it's Dustin Wiltermude from Windsor, Illinois as well, and his 7W. Rounding out the field in the 4th and final position, it's Josh Bonowitz from Oakland, Illinois in the 2D. This is going to be your Mod Light starting lineup. These mod lights just waiting for race control to get ready to go here for their 10-lap feature. And at that, they have been called onto the racetrack, and they are ready to go. Like I mentioned before, only 10 laps for the mod lights tonight. It should be a good battle all the way to the end. We're going to the green flag right here off turn number 4. It's Jimmy Arthur and J.R. Wiltermude. They're coming past the start cone off turn number 4. Green flag is waving, and we're green on the mod light feature. They head off into turn number 1. They get mostly single file. J.R. Wiltermude up high, trying to find some momentum up top. See if he can get that set up a little bit better. It looks like not locking the front left tire as much as he was earlier on in this heat race. So a little bit better situation for Wiltermude here as they roll off turn number 2. He's going to get alongside Jimmy Arthur as Josh Bonowitz goes for a spin over in turn number 2. So I believe one lap is complete. Let's see what race control decides to do. They may decide to call it back. I think they will. Looks like they will go single file here as they come back to the one to go signal. So they will still have 10 laps to go, but field electing to go single file on this restart. So Jimmy Arthur will lead us back to green. J.R. Wiltermude second, Dustin Wiltermude third, Josh Bonowitz fourth. They come off turn 2 with the caution lights out. It's going to be Jimmy Arthur with control as they go past the restart cone. Green flags waving on the mod light feature. We're back underway off into turn number 1. Both Wiltermudes up to the high side of the racetrack, trying to find some momentum. JR going to rip the high side down here in turns 3 and 4, trying to get alongside Jimmy Arthur. Arthur, though, just out a little bit better down on the bottom, is keeping JR behind him. But JR going to get a good run here off turn number 2. He will be alongside on the entry to turn number 3. See if he can cross him back over here on the exit of 4. Doesn't quite have the run he wanted there, so he sits in line. And he gets a good run again off turn number 2, but J.R. Wiltermude just cannot get the run he needs to get by him. He's going to back up the entry to the corner. He's going to try to get to the inside of Jimmy Arthur. Has to back out of it. That car was all over the racetrack loose. That's a complete 3 laps on the mod light feature. Dustin Wiltermude running in third, watching these two battle out in front of him. Jimmy Arthur still holding off both of them as they complete lap number 4. They'll be at the halfway point this time. J.R. Wiltermude trying to settle back in line, see what he can do. Here behind Jimmy Arthur, they're nose to nose as they head back off into turn number 1 with 5 laps complete. Big run through turns 1 and 2 for J.R. Wiltermude. A little bit of contact is going to get the front 2 sideways. Dustin will take advantage. He's on the inside of Jimmy Arthur off turn 4. Dustin Wiltermude will lead his first lap of the race. Jimmy Arthur going to try to power back around the outside, still side by side off turn number 2 for the lead. Dustin going to get a good run here off 4. Is clear. Doesn't go all the way to the outside wall. Jimmy Arthur is going to lock up the brakes, headed off into turn number 1. Goes for the spin, and the caution will come out. It's a great battle there, that entire 6 laps between the Wiltermudes and Jimmy Arthur. And Jimmy Arthur just locking up the brakes, getting into turn 1. Couldn't get them unlocked in, and ends up with him facing the infield in turn number 1. We'll have 4 laps to go on the mod light feature when we come back to green. It'll be Dustin Wiltermude on point, J.R. Wiltermude behind him, then Josh Bonowitz, Jimmy Arthur. Jimmy Arthur gets it turned around with assistance from the track crew. And evidently he felt the car was damaged, so he heads back to the pit area. So Jimmy Arthur will not complete this race, and with that, the 1 to go signal comes back out for this Mod Light feature. It looks like this is setting up to be a duel between the Wiltermoods. This last duel of the Wiltermoods, it was J.R. Wiltermood who took the victory. Dustin finished second to him. Can they change history tonight? Dustin Wiltermood will go to the middle part of the racetrack as they pass by the restart cone. We are back green on the Mod Light feature. The Wiltermoods head off into turn number 1 with a several car length advantage over Josh Bonowitz back in third. JR up high, Dustin down low as they head back off into turn number 3. They'll have 3 laps to go this time. JR making that car not turn as well as he wanted to. Looks like he kind of got up into the marble section up high. Just was not getting the turnability he wanted underneath the hood of that number 93J. A little bit cleaner this time, but the gap might be too big. It's about a second to Dustin Wiltermood in the lead. Now Dustin with clean air out in front of him is easily pulling away in this Mod Light feature. He'll come around. He'll take the white flag this time in his yellow 7W. Dustin Wiltermood with an 0.8 of a second advantage is going to roll into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And Dustin Wiltermood is going to win the Mod Light feature. Dustin Wiltermood will pick up his second win here at Coles County Speedway in 2025. Last win coming on April 12th for that number 7W machine. J.R. Wiltermood finishes in second, Josh Bonowitz third. Of course, Jimmy Arthur didn't finish the race. So Dustin Wiltermood into victory lane for the second time this year. Kevin, you're going to be down there with him.
Had a little difficulty with his helmet down here. He'll be out in a second. He's got his kids down here helping him. Here he is, folks. Let's give a big round of applause to Dustin Wiltermood from Windsor, Illinois, Mod Light feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. All right, so you guys battled hard out there. You made some really good passes there on them and just able to hold everybody up. But you guys were challenging.
Yeah, that was pretty fun for 3 cars. I mean, 4, sorry. Ready for next year. Actually, my boy starts, and we got him 1 too. So there'll be a lot more cars next year. Just hang with the class, and we'll put a good show. You
guys always put on a good show out here, especially when you bring a lot of cars out here. We really enjoy watching you guys race. You got any sponsor, anybody you need to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Vermeer Midwest. It's a company I work for, best company in the business. They helped me produce 2 cars out here for me and the boys. So we want to thank them very much so. Thank Ryan Waddell, Lucas, and my daughter. So
excellent. All right, folks, one last time, big round of applause for Dustin Wiltermood, your Mod Light feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. I take a picture of you. I see if I can get them, put them on the website.
And with that, tonight's racing action has concluded here at Coles County Speedway. Another fantastic night of racing, even though we only had 4 classes. Great battles all throughout the field. We hope everybody here at the racetrack drives home safe, and we hope to see you next week, whether you're here at the racetrack or watching in online on WFO TV. We'll see you next week here at Coles County Speedway.